Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Real Magic. Oh my goodness, I am so delighted and so honored to be here with you today. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about real magic and what it is, and I'm going to be offering myself as an opener for this container. And so that's why I called this episode The Wounded Healer. And so I want to just start by sharing a little bit about what real magic is, my vision for it, and this container. And then we're going to dive in. So if you've been in my community for a while, you know I've been creating this program called Heart Magic, and I've been in the process. The enrollment has been open, and as I've been in the creation process of offering this program, I got this idea for real magic. It started coming forward, and then the pieces became more and more clear. And what this container is it's going to be sacred conversations to open your heart and fuel your soul. And so the container is going to be, sometimes I'll show up and I'm going to be, the one having this sacred conversation with you. I'm going to also be using this platform to invite guests. So the idea for real magic is real, raw, truthful conversations about healing, about growing a business, about what it means to be a spiritual woman and live a spiritual life in your relationships, being a mother, running a business, all of it. And so I don't want to have the how-to conversations. What I really desire is for you to see the inside, right? For you to see what it really is, and also for these conversations to be door openers for you as the listener, to give you permission to help you to access parts of yourself that maybe you weren't aware of, right? And also to fuel you, right? To be that spark for your soul, for your passion, to give you the motivation, to give you the permission you need to say yes to you. So I'm so delighted to be here, and I'm also so delighted and a little bit scared to be using myself as a offering to open this container. And so this episode is called The Wounded Healer, and getting here, I really feel like even the past 24 hours, I have been in my shit. Recording this episode, I got the idea maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it hadn't felt right. And then I got the idea for the tagline, right? I was feeling into like, what is the tagline for Real Magic? And finally that came forward: sacred conversations to open the heart and fuel the soul. Yes, that is it. And then I want to say maybe last week, right? I was like, oh, the conversation that I'm going to open with is the wounded healer. And so that became really clear, and part of me wanted to like jump in and just record the episode, and also it didn't feel time, and so today is the new moon in Aries, and right now Chiron is in Aries for, I want to say, like a year, and Chiron is the planet, right? The astrological alignment, which is where the wounded healer happens. So wherever Chiron is in your chart, it's going to be the place where you where your wound is, and often these wounds, they're the place where we separate as an individual. It's the place that gives us our magic, It's the thing that makes us so good at what we do. And it's also the place where we can feel the most alone. And if we're fully in that empowerment, we might be abandoned. Or it can also feel like this separation from God. It can feel like, like if we're fully in ourself, if we're fully claiming our magic, it could feel like this separation from the people around us, from God, not feeling understood. And so we're going to be talking all about that today, and I'm going to be sharing my story, my story of this Heart Magic launch and my wounded healerness, and and so each time we offer ourselves to the world. So each time we put ourselves out there, each time we birth a new program, each time we are saying yes to our divine calling, our soul calling, from my experience, it's also a journey to grow us and evolve us. And I truly, truly believe that having a business is one of the most spiritual journeys that there possibly is. So, business and relationship are pretty close together. And, I would almost say that growing a business might be even, there is more opportunity for growth than our intimate relationships. The business could be more, right? And also personal relationships, there's a lot of opportunity for personal growth as well, and spiritual growth. And so what I mean by this is there's also this opportunity to connect deeper to ourselves and to our souls. And when I said yes to offering this Heart Magic program, I got the nudge, right? The soul nudge. I got it in September, and I was hosting a ceremony for a couple of clients, and we were doing this deep soul work. And the second night of ceremony, I felt this deep calling. I felt the medicine. I felt spirit, source, goddess come to me, and it was very, very clear. And they asked me to do this work, this ceremonial work, and also to co-create with this this energy, right? And also with myself, my soul, right? And what's wanting to come through me. And I remember, when I first felt that nudge, it was it was this undeniable yes, first of all. And then as soon as I was like in this deep gratitude and honor and just reverence, as soon as I felt into all of that, receiving that ask, right? And receiving the yes, almost immediately after, all of this fear started to wash over me. And I remember it was so much, so much fear. And I knew at the same time that I had to do this thing. And so that was the initial activation, and that was September 2018. And, the months following that, I started to actually get clearer and clearer on what is like actually wanting to be birthed through me, and what am I being asked to do. And I began to work my personal pieces around that, and also the physical pieces, around my business. And this program, creating this program really has brought me like full circle, into this woundedness. And then I really feel like just the last 24 hours, I've come to this full circle of this realization of like remembering why I'm here. And so, yes. So when we're listening and when we choose to say yes to our soul, it's no small task. It's scary, and it's going to rock your boat. It's going to trigger your patterns. It's going to bring up fear. It does every single time. And, if we're willing to stay with it and to say yes and to work our pieces, it allows us to expand in a way that our mind can't even comprehend. And what I mean by this is it's not just expanding your business, right? It's like, yes, you will bring in more money, you will attract more people, you will attract the right people. But it's also like this inner feeling, this inner sense of alignment, of purpose, of knowing that you are here doing what you are feeling called to do. When you connect to that and you begin to anchor into that, everything in your life begins to shift. It really becomes this relationship with you, your soul, and source or the universe. And, as I've been launching, this program, Heart Magic, I've felt myself go in and out of those connections. And what the big overall thing that I've been working is finding this union, this divine union, and this divine union within myself. So this inner alignment between my masculine, my feminine, my heart, my womb. And then it's also this divine union between me and the universe, God. And there's been moments where I felt it, and there's been moments where it's felt like this big void of being all alone and not having the words and not knowing what steps to take, and feeling naked, feeling naked on the stage, and like everyone's watching me and I don't even know, right? Like I'm doing this thing that I'm feeling called to do, and it's like, is anyone getting it? And some of the things that I've worked, just arriving to this place today, this pattern around my belly, like so much energy is moving right now. So if you hear it, that's what's happening. But this pattern around holding versus receiving, or giving versus receiving. And, that was a really big one that I had to work, and allowing myself to receive support. And, when we think in terms of receiving support, a lot of times we're thinking outward, and really, it was opening to myself. So yes, I received a lot of external support, but when we really rub up against these places where it's your woundedness, your wounded healer, right? And so for me, what that looked like is I've been working a lot of layers around my womb and around reopening to my self-expression, to my creativity. So in the past in my business, I was really creating from this place of my heart and, my crown. And so inspiration would come in and then I'd put it out, and, it felt good and it felt aligned, and, I would get results, I would pretty much sell out everything that I did for the most part if it was something that I really wanted. And usually I could do it really fast. And, it wasn't bad at all. And yet, there's been this place that's been calling me. And, this is the place of the wounded healer, right? It's been calling me to heal my body, right? Because I had all this physical pain in my womb. But also, this deep longing to connect in a different way and to express my work in a different way and to be able to show up even more as me. And so, this deep longing, I've been working, years, right, on it. But I would say really the past year, I've been working one-on-one with a healer, and, also I was in a group program and all kinds of things, but working more specifically on this piece. And, so as I have gotten closer, to like actually seeing like what is all of this womb stuff, because my womb has been the thing that led me here, like to all of this work. And I've kind of been remembering that these past 6 months. And at 13 years old, I had polycystic ovaries, and I remember, being brought to doctors and feeling like I wasn't understood, and I knew there was something deeper and I couldn't express it, and also I could feel all of the energy around me of my mom wanting to help me and support me, and just, this aloneness of knowing that there was something more and yet not having the words to express it. And as I've been, moving through this Heart Magic launch, I've been feeling this. And so it's like, what's this new creation, right? Where this Heart Magic program, where it's one-on-one, and then we have 2 in-person retreats where we're going to be doing ceremonial work, and we're going to be dropping in deep, and I'm going to be holding space for you to experience yourself in ways that you've never been able to. It's like there's a way that our mind thinks one thing, right? So we think we know ourselves, or we know with our mind, but in this ceremonial work where we use plant medicine, it actually brings you deeper into the mind, where you have an experience with your heart, with your womb, where you're feeling this full body experience of yourself, knowing it in every cell in your body. When you do this, when you start to embody your magic, and you start to know yourself on this level, you become that oak tree in the midst of the storm, right? You become the anchor where you are magnetizing what you want to you. And so this is what we're activating. This is really awakening you to your soul, to your essence, waking that back up in your energy to where you're not operating from the place of story and fear, and instead you're anchoring into the truth of who you are and what is available for you and what your soul wants for you, right? Your purpose, not only your purpose, but it's like, what you want also wants you. And so it's coming home to that and learning to awaken it so that you can really start to create the reality that you want, And so this is deep work, and it's fucking magical. And so as I've been moving towards, offering this, it's like I haven't had the words to describe it. And, some ladies have said yes right away because they've already worked with me and they know the magic of my work. And so they were a yes. And, other people that I've talked to, I could feel their soul wanting this, and their soul is like a yes. And, and they're not a yes. And the past 24 hours, I have found myself going through so many emotions, navigating my own energy, my own experience, and then also feeling the energetics of my whole community, those who have been in process around this program, those who I can feel their soul being a yes, and, their stories are bigger, or they're not ready. Also, those in my community who are afraid to even let themselves desire it. And so I've been navigating all of this, and and I've, this frustration and this sadness and this longing, I've been feeling it so strong the past 24 hours. I was messaging with one of the ladies in process yesterday, and I asked her, where are you in your process? I just wanted to check in. And in the message, I said, I've been sharing there's one spot left with the program, and she said, I know you only have one spot left. And I went to tell her, that one spot is separate from you. Like, I'm already counting you in the program since you're in process. And I, autocorrect put desperate. And so I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, am I being desperate? So I was laughing, and, I felt into it, and, the shame wanted to kick in and all this stuff. And it's like, it's really not desperate. It's this longing. And like, yes, my ego has been like, we need boundaries, and I need to know, like, who's joining me. And so, yes, part of me has been desperate to know, because it's like our mind, wants to know what's happening. And yet we have all of these deeper parts of us. And, so the past 24 hours, I've been navigating this, and there's been triggers, and I've been just in the feels, and, I found myself like sobbing, these deep wallow, like belly sobs. And as I got close to that part of myself, I was being brought back to this 13-year-old version of myself. And what I was seeing, is not feeling understood. Feeling this deep knowing and this deep desire and this deep calling. And it's like, where's the communication? How come the energy isn't being translated? And I reached out to a friend who has been, the year-long program that I was in, where we did this deep ceremonial work. And, I got the initiation to share this work with my clients. I reached out to one of my friends and I said, can we talk later? I need some support. And we ended up talking last night, which I'll share a little bit about. But, before that, I could feel this wounded masculine piece, in my heart, like having no idea how to support my womb. And it was like freaking out a little bit, like, oh my God, what do I do with her? What do I do with all these feelings? And what do I do with all these desires? Like, I have no idea, and this is where the old masculine parts of us, they're so accustomed to listening to everyone else or pleasing everyone else. We don't know how to support ourselves. We're too busy trying to support everyone else. Or, take care of all the things. And what we're being called to is to support ourselves, and I could feel where, my womb, she was just devastated. Like, why can't we just get on board with this? This work is needing to be shared. This message is needing to be shared. And, so finally my heart started to just open and just hold the space. And as that happened, I also started to remember, so when I was at this transition in my business in 2015, which we're in 2019, I guess that was 4 years ago. I was so tired of like working as a dietitian, and I was just really ready to step forward and offer energy work. And at that time, energy sessions, doing Reiki, teaching Reiki, that was the way that I felt this connection to God. Like I didn't know how to explain it back then, but now I can see. And those were the masculine containers, right? Like it was a structure where I could say like, okay, we're going to balance your chakras, or like, I'm going to teach you Reiki. And it was a way for me to let that divine energy flow through me. And, here I am today, and it's like I'm being called to expand beyond that. And what's funny and not funny all at the same time is I have a call, in about an hour, and it's with someone who wants to talk about getting Reiki attuned, right? And so I'm wanting to expand bigger. I'm wanting to go to this next level of like holding this sacred space in ceremonies where there is no boundaries. It is not a masculine structure of, this is how you connect with God, or this is how energy works. It's like totally next level beyond that, right? It's finding the way that you connect with God, finding the way that you connect with yourself and experience yourself. That is what this divine connection is. It's experiencing yourself and knowing yourself so deeply that you can't not feel God. You can't not feel this divine love that is you, that you are. And so, as I was my heart's holding space for my womb, it was this remembering of, 4 years ago being at this place in my business where the old way was no longer working for me. And, it was also this deep knowing that I had these gifts to share, and yet not having the words. Not having the words to share them, and not knowing how to connect with the people that I was here to serve. I wasn't planning on crying, but since this is real magic, I started to remember. So 4 years ago, I was at this place of feeling so disconnected and feeling this strong longing at the same time. And this feeling was the thing that I made this decision around. I remember, it really felt like I had this moment of spirit flowing through me when I was sobbing and crying and, feeling so frustrated because I knew I had these amazing gifts to share. And also, like, me and my boyfriend were fighting, and, things weren't flowing in my life at that time. And it was challenging. And, I remember feeling so frustrated and feeling alone. Like, God, where are you? Where are you? And why are you not helping me? Why are you not supporting me and telling me what I need to be doing? And through this Heart Magic launch, I felt similar. And, there's been moments where I'm like, God, where are you? Why are you not guiding me? Because usually, the information is coming from above and I could like take action. And, this program, like, it's been about my womb, this part of me, my expression, coming alive, my desires. And so each thing that, has happened with this program, spirit has been holding space. My heart has been holding space. My higher self, my soul has been holding space for me in this 3D form to decide what is it that you want. And I've had to do it. No one has done it for me. Source has not done it for me. I had to do it. And so this memory, of 4 years ago, and remembering like God is with me and he wants me to share my magic. I am the only one that's holding me back. And, I made the decision at that moment. I, had this clarity, like there's other people struggling with this and I can't not share this. It's more painful to be alone in these emotions than to just share how I'm feeling and let people know that I want to help them. And that was the day that like everything shifted in my business. I made the decision I was going to make my business work and I was going to figure it out. And I did, I did. And here I am. And, so yesterday as I'm like feeling all this again and I'm like, holy crap, I've been like in this pattern again as I'm offering heart magic, right? And it's like there's been so many moments where I haven't had the words and I haven't known, like it's like, oh my gosh, this deep desire to do this work and like not feeling like I have the words to express, and then of course I felt guided, to hold space for the Aligned Mastermind as I am launching Heart Magic. And, it was for the ladies who said yes early, for us to begin working together and for them to have some support. But it also, I knew that it was for me. And as I've been listening to each video, each of the lessons in the Align program, this week was week 3, and it's all about aligning your offers and connecting to your dream clients. And as I was reading the email yesterday, the first thing that I said is, as I was creating this, I was so in my head and like I kept writing and deleting and basically it was like, then all of a sudden I realized your energy is everything. Like that was the words that I had on the paper. And so yesterday I was participating in my own program and I'm like, your energy is everything. And it was just this reminder, right? We go into the logics of like wanting to figure out, like, how do I do this? How do I manifest what I'm wanting to manifest? How do I step into this next phase? How do I communicate? How do I share this program that I'm so fucking passionate about and like so longing to do this sacred work with people? How do I share this? And the way out is in. It's not logical. And, as I remembered this yesterday, and it also took, talking to it also took talking to my soul sister, Nicole, who is in Philosophia with me, and we've done ceremonial work together. And we were talking last night, and she's telling me, she's like, dress up like your higher self, and you need to just experience yourself. And, she was like, your heart just needs to remember, and like, she's telling me these things. And she's like, oh my God, like I'm awesome. And she was basically having an experience of herself as she's trying to help me. And we were also talking about this ceremony that we went to in October where my teacher was trying to help me and I was trying to help her. And so it was like we couldn't get through to each other. And it was so frustrating because I had this deep longing and she was closed off to it and she was trying to help me. And it was just like this energy block. And So after I got off the call with Nicole last night, I was just feeling into that, and I was like, okay, I need, like, she was so excited, and like she was so in her zone when we were talking last night, and I'm like, where am I? And all of a sudden it was like this memory, like this remembering of, oh my God, I was holding space for her. And like this has been the pattern that I've been working, leading up to Heart Magic. And I was like, holy shit, that's the thing. I open people to themselves, and it was like, oh my God, that is it. So when I share my experience, I open people to themselves. When I open to this self-expression, I open other people to their magic. That is who I am. I'm a sharer. I'm an opener. And I was messaging with Lauren this morning. So Lauren is going to be a support in the Heart Magic program. She did several ceremonies with me last year, and birthing her also helped birth me. And Lauren is a womb healer, and she is freaking amazing. And so, with Heart Magic, you're getting Heart Magic and womb magic. And so she has been supporting me through this process, and I've been supporting her too. And, this morning I was telling her the shifts and the realizations that were coming forward and just some of these womb pieces. And she was like, oh my God, thank you so much for this conversation. You're showing me myself. And there it was again, right? Like, I'm just being myself, and I'm opening other people to themselves. This is who I am. And I deeply, deeply desire to hold this space for you to know and experience yourself on this deep soul level. I want to help you remember your magic, and not only remember it, I want to help you unleash it. I want to help you bring it into your business, into your relationships, into your life. I want to help you find the words to express yourself and to share. I want to just wrap you in this divine love and knowing, and share my inspiration with you as you find your feet and find your courage to become the inspiration yourself. This is what the Heart Magic program is about. It doesn't really matter where you are in your business. It doesn't matter, if you are new or if you have a business and you are ready to open even more to yourself and, stop working from those masculine structures and systems and start really plugging deeper into what is it that you want, and opening to the freedom that you really desire. When we open to ourself, open to our self-expression, when we open to these desires, we're opening to the freedom. This is the freedom that we really want. It's this freedom to desire, to create, to speak unapologetically, to feel, to experience God. And as I was thinking of doing this morning, recording this real magic conversation, last week in my energy session with the healer that I've been working with for over a year, we were looking at this way that one of my fears is like around sharing my experience of God. And that's also what I'm here to do, and I grew up Catholic, and, even as a child, being 5 or 6 years old, my grandmother would bring me to these churches where, Mary would appear to people. And, the experience that I had of God, even as a child, was nature, and it was these feelings, and it was through creating and playing. And this morning I was remembering that. And we're taught in the church and in religion that most of the time it's like we come to God when we need something or when we're struggling, and so then we're taught like that if you want that connection, right, you need to struggle, you need to be hurting, or, it's like also there's like punishment and all of this stuff. And, as I was remembering this morning, it's like the way that even as a child, that I connected was writing. It was creating. It was writing these poems. It was allowing energy to flow through me, through my creations, through play, through dance, through singing, through writing, And so in my business, like when I am creating, when I am offering myself in this is the way that I experience, divine love, letting the energy flow through me, allowing myself to be a vessel. And, often we can do this when we're holding energy space for others. So when we are laying our hands on someone doing a Reiki session or holding an energy space for them, we can let, the divine energy flow through us. Or, if you're speaking, you can let the energy flow through you. And, the way that I'm wanting to play is this bigger level of letting this be the song of my life and, deep embodiment of it. And not just the way that I hold an energy session or the way that I offer myself in a sacred conversation. I want it to be the way that I show up in everything in my business, right? And this is a practice, and yeah. So I feel like this has been a lot. Oh my gosh. I wasn't planning on crying. I wasn't planning on any of this, I even dropping in, like I really didn't know. I had an idea of what I wanted to say, but there's this way that, I haven't been able to do things this old way of, like having the boundaries and then, performing or, that was kind of the old, right? Performing in these boundaries, like showing up in the boundaries. And this new way is like this raw energy wanting to come through me. And it feels really good. It feels really, really freeing. And yeah, so I'm just so honored. If you're watching this, thank you. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Thank you for witnessing me. And my prayer is that you find this place in you. Don't just be on the sidelines. Don't just be an observer. Like you are in this body to play, to experience yourself, to experience life for yourself, but for everyone. I feel like I have a black eye. Like the world needs you. The world needs your gifts. This is the time. If you wait till next time, what's going to happen until then? Now is the time. There's never going to be a good time. If you are feeling called, I'd absolutely love to talk to you about this Heart Magic program. This is a sacred container. It is a sacred journey. It is a soul journey. This is not a logical journey. This is not a logical decision. This is a decision that comes from your heart, from your womb, from your soul, saying, I desire you to know me. I desire to co-create with you. I desire to move through you, through that body. I desire to love you and support you more than your mind can comprehend. Choose me. Come meet me. Come get to know me. Come let me wrap my arms around you and love you and be you. Embody me. If you're ready, reach out to me. Let's talk. I'd love to jump on a call with you and we can just drop in and see what's so. The program is starting on the 8th, so that's when our opening call is. And so I trust you. I trust that you are going to find this if you need it. I trust that you receive the activation that you need from this real magic conversation. I trust you to trust yourself. I trust you to listen to the calling of your soul. And my soul is rooting for you and delightfully waiting to play and to pray with you. Thank you, thank you. I'm sending you so much love, and I am so looking forward to having more of these sacred conversations with you. You can come and join me in the Soul Inspired Success community. I'll post the link in the comments and just share what's coming forward for you. I'd love to hear from you as you receive this activation. So much love.